My dear brothers, here we are once again reunited to hear the story of our Lord and Savior Kratos. So, as you should know, today we have the next 3 games of the chronology, and if you don't know, it's because you didn't watch the first part. So, my brother in Christ, what are we doing here? Go watch that one first. Go on, I can wait. You don't? Well, actually, I changed my mind, and as you probably have seen in the title, I'm going to make individual videos for each game. So next on our list is God of War Ghost of Sparta. But there is a hidden game, a game only known by those who don't touch grass. The game that brings shame to the name of the God of War. God of War Betrayal. Look, I said I was going to play every God of War game, so my hand is forced in this one. The game starts right after Kratos takes the throne as the God of War, guiding the Spartan army through multiple conquest missions. And the gods ain't that happy about that, so Hera, Zeus' wife, sends a beast to kill Kratos. So during the playthrough we are chasing the beast while also fighting the typical God of War enemies. Once we get to the final fight, a mysterious man kills the beast, and of course Kratos wants to know who the hell he is, so we follow him. But during the chase, Cerex, the son of Hermes, stops Kratos to give him a message from the gods. This violent pursuit must end. Kratos refuses to hear him and asks Cerex to get out of his way, but he won't listen. So we fight and Kratos ends up killing him, putting Kratos once again in the bad side of the gods. So who is this mysterious killer of Argos? We'll never know. This game brings nothing to the table except for the fact that Kratos killed Cerex, and that is never going to be mentioned again. Straight to F tier. And I refuse to elaborate. Now it's time for the good stuff. Approximately 12 years after God of War, we begin... Now I'm going blind on this one cause most of the trophies are hidden, but as always, we get the usual trophies about collecting all eyes and stuff, so we're just going to comment on those when we get there. Now we're going to start the game on the hardest difficult available, cause yes, there is a trophy for doing so. We start the game with Kratos, as we saw him last time, turned into the new God of War, still haunted by the visions of his past, but this time, they ain't about his daughter and wife. On this new vision, he sees 2 kids fighting, and a woman calling for his help. Looking for an answer to these new visions, Kratos navigates to Atlantis, looking for the Temple of Poseidon, and in the way he talks to Athena, who tries to persuade him from this crusade. Kratos reminds her about his visions not being taken away, but he thinks that he can do something about this one. And it's worth to mention that we can already see a more angry Kratos, after the gods denied him the freedom from his past and also denied him his own death. What used to be remorse and overall sadness has turned into pure hate and anger. The ship is attacked by a beast from the seas, which quickly continues on land. There we learn that the beast is Scylla, so we start fighting it, and eventually Kratos rips off a fang from the beast, which results on the trophy Dental Work. And right after we get our first Gorgon. No, stop that, we are not doing that again. I did it in the first part, it was annoying, it consumed too much time, and the worst part is that it's not even useful. You see, there are more than enough chests in the game to get the eyes and feathers. It's very hard to actually miss these trophies. But if you want to be 100% sure, I recommend the guides from the channel Boss Collection. So I'm only going to show you what I consider to be important for some trophies. Alright, let's continue. We open our way through Atlantis while Scylla keeps being a pain in the ass. Eventually we reach the Temple of Thanatos. That we cannot access it right now, but it's going to be important later. Finally we reach the Temple of Poseidon, and once we enter, Kratos gets inside one of his visions, where we can see a very young Kratos practicing with his brother Deimos, and inside lies the very mother of Kratos, the one that was calling him on his visions. Kratos' mother tells him about his brother Deimos, who we can see being abducted as a child. Well, turns out Deimos is alive and suffering deep within the domains of Thanatos. Kratos gets mad because she lied to him, telling him that his brother was dead. There she reveals that his father forbid her to tell the truth. Kratos then asks who his father is, so she whispers his name in his ear. We can't hear what she says, but Kratos seems really disturbed by whatever she told him. So it turns out that Kratos' mother is cursed by the gods, so she turns into a horrible monster, who we have to fight. But before fighting, I upgraded the Blaze of Athena and got a trophy for upgrading a piece of equipment. So we start fighting, and of course we are victorious. Kratos kills the monster, who turns back into his mother, who asks him to go to Sparta to find Deimos, and right after she dies. Pushing Kratos' anger even more. Right after that fight, we find the first special item out of 6 in the game, and also we get the story-related trophy, A Mother's Sacrifice. We find a new piece of equipment, and after we reach some kind of balcony, we are attacked again by Scylla, who while we fight, takes us to the heart of the volcano of Atlantis. This is the first time we encounter Linnaeus, who is in charge of maintaining the machinery. Passing the caldera, we reach a door with the drawing of a titan. Linnaeus tells us to stay away, but obviously Kratos don't listen, and behind the door we meet Thera, a lava titan imprisoned by Poseidon to act as the heart of the volcano. When Kratos approaches, Thera tells him that Gaia foretold that the ghost of Sparta was going to free the titans. Kratos doesn't want anything to do with that, but Thera promises to give him her power if he frees her. So Kratos does, and we receive the Thera's Bane power. which gives us the Blaze of Fire trophy. With this new power we open our way through the volcano, using it to kill these metal-made statues who have gears that are used as keys. We travel the volcano, and to the right of this save point we find our first Minotaur horn. We reach the volcano core and Scylla makes her last appearance, and finally we kill it, receiving the trophy Screwed. This battle caused the volcano to erupt, launching Kratos to the island of Crete, where we see that Atlantis started to sink by the doings of Kratos, and we receive the trophy There Will Be Consequences. Reaching this part, we get this unmissable chest with the second Minotaur horn. We reach the Temple of Athena, where Kratos lashes out at her for being lied about his brother being dead, and when she tries to warn him about this mission, Kratos' anger shows up again and he destroys her statue. Now to the right of the statue we find the second special item. And to the left, we have a big metal door that we can't open without a key, so we will be returning here later in the game. While advancing, we reach this contraption that we must break by throwing dogs at it, which will give us the unmissable trophy, the Puppy Mill. Way ahead we reach the save point, and right in front of it we find the next Minotaur horn. On his way, Kratos finds two Spartan soldiers, well, 1.5, who have been slaughtered by the daughter of Thanatos, who left a message to Kratos.
Death awaits the ghost. You will never get the skull.
After this, we slide our way down to Hercelion, where right here we find our fourth Minotaur horn. And when reaching this beamwalk, jumping down, we will get the fifth one. After completing a few puzzles, we reach the Gravedigger, that I did not mention in the first part, but he has an important role in the first God of War game. So with your permission, it's lore time! You can skip it if you want. So the first appearance of the Gravedigger is in the 2005 God of War, where we find him outside the Oracle Temple, digging a grave that in his own words is for Kratos. At the end of the game, it turns out that the grave was made to help Kratos escape the underworld. For years it was a mystery who was this Gravedigger and why he helped Kratos escape death, but in a 2010 documentary about God of War, Stig Asmussen, the director of God of War 3, confirmed that the Gravedigger is actually Zeus. And why did he help him then? Well, we must remember that in the first game, the gods asked Kratos to kill Ares, so most likely he was just making sure that he succeeded. Back to the game, the Gravedigger reproaches Kratos for the things he has done, and also for the fact that he does not seem to appreciate the position he was given as the God of War, to which Kratos replies that he never asked for the throne of Ares. Zeus tries to divert him from looking for his brother, implying that all that awaits him is death. Of course, Kratos won't listen, and right after we find the Key of Crete, which allows us to open those big doors from before. Following the streets of Hercelion, we start escaping when everything starts to fall apart, and when we escape from that zone, we receive an unmissable trophy. Kratos has another vision about his brother, where we see that while they were training, they were attacked by an army of beasts. Once again we reach the Temple of Athena and follow the path to the big door, which takes us to another door where we find the next horn. Eventually we reach the Mounts of Aronia, where we see the daughter of Thanatos, who is still looking for the ghost of Sparta. Kratos approaches the dying Spartan, who swears to not have failed him. This doesn't add anything to the story, but it's always nice to see Kratos giving respect to another human being. And in the same area, behind this ice wall, we find another Minotaur horn. After a lot of fighting, a lot of killing and a lot of walking, we reach the Aronian Pass, where we encounter Erinis face to face, that basically is looking for him to kill him. We start fighting, and after a while the fight moves to the skies, where Kratos makes her crash to the ground, and then brutally takes her out of life. And we receive the trophy Disarmed, alongside with the power Scourge of Erinis. Down the path we find another Minotaur horn. And I'm starting to think that it was a mistake to count these. I mean, they are in the most obvious of places after all. Finally we reach the glorious Sparta, and what's the first thing we do? We go to the brothel, of course. I mean, you know, what else can I do, am I right? Once we finish the minigame, we receive the trophy A Hero's Welcome. And if we do it 3 times in a row, we will receive the next special item of the list. Kratos reaches his old home, and there he has another vision, where we learn that after the war with the Titans, the Oracle foretold that the destruction of Olympus will come not from the revenge of the Titans, but from a marked warrior. And who was marked as a child? Deimos, of course. So he was abducted by Ares and Athena by order of Zeus. We get down to the jails of Sparta, where to the left of this broken door we will find another horn. And towards the end of the prison, we fight the Piraeus Lion. Once we kill it, Kratos faces the coward Spartan who freed the lion, and in a way too long sequence we absolutely destroy him, which gives us a trophy Ares who? We end up in the Temple of Ares, where the Spartans are destroying his statue to build up one of Kratos instead. There we talk to a loyal Spartan who says that he has something for us, and he will give it to us later. We enter the temple, and upon seeing the statue of Ares, Kratos sees that he has become the very thing he swore to destroy.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
Inside the temple, I found the last Gorgon Eye, giving me the trophy for it. Kratos finds a mirror within the temple, which shows a ghost of his younger self, who starts to attack him. After a bit of fighting, Kratos breaks the mirror and receives the Skull of Keres. alongside with the trophy Inner Child Abuse. With the skull, now Kratos has to go back to Atlantis to enter the domains of Thanatos, but in the way, the little Spartan from before gives us the best weapon in the game, the arms of Sparta. We keep advancing, and at the end of the bridge we find the next Minotaur horn. Way ahead into the mountains, to the right of this fallen bridge, we get the 11th horn, and after entering this fort, we find the next one. Eventually, we reach the Canyons of Sorrow, where we talk for the first time with Thanatos, who warns Kratos about going into that place. Then again, Kratos doesn't care about what the gods have to say, so he keeps going, and inside the volcano he meets the King Midas, and to the right of this ledge, we find another Minotaur horn. Now we are face to face with Midas, who is cursed to turn anything he touches into pure gold. This curse drove him crazy, and also the fact that he turned his own daughter into gold, you know, as one does. So he starts hallucinating that the river of lava is actually water, so he touches it, getting severely burned and turning the lava river into pure gold. Going down the river we find the next special item, leaving only one left. And right ahead I found the last Phoenix Feather, which gave me the Beard Flute trophy. Up ahead we find a chest made of gold beside a Cyclops. We can't open it, but if we try for 30 seconds we will get the trophy the Midas Trick. Up ahead we reach a pool of lava with some platforms, and in one of them we find the next horn. We finally reach King Midas, and oh boy, that circle over his head says it all. Kratos strikes the king and uses him to freeze the rest of the lava, to use it for climbing up. And for that we get the trophy Fool's Gold. Once out of the volcano we reach the port of Atlantis, where in this pier we'll find the last Minotaur horn, granting us the trophy Mess with the Bow. Kratos boards a ship into the vortex that hides the city of Atlantis. After some fighting, Kratos falls into the vortex and reaches the city, where Poseidon threatens him with the consequences for destroying the city. Once in the sunken city we get the trophy Straight Flush. Inside the city, once again, Athena tells Kratos to turn back, and ends up explaining that they abducted Deimos because he was a threat to the Olympus.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
And there, Kratos realizes that she was there the day that Ares took his brother. The conversation ends with Kratos warning Athena to stay out of the way while he saves Deimos. Now we reach the Nexus of Atlantis, where we fight a bunch of enemies in a small area. Perfect place to get a 200 hit combo. That will grant us the trophy, I'd hit that. After some puzzle doing, we face Leonios once again, who does nothing and dies, giving us the trophy that hit the spot. Poor guy, he did nothing in the game, but still he deserves some screen time. We retrieve a gear that we'll use to rise up the bridge that will take us to Thanatos' domain, giving us the trophy A Bridge to the Past. Once there we use the skull to reach the portal. Once we get in, we reach Death's domain. Just down from the portal we find the last special item we can find in the game. Actually there is still one remaining, we will talk about that one later. A little bit further, out of nowhere we face the hardest encounter that this game has to offer. And you know what, I'm not even going to comment on it, just watch.
Damn it! Same shit! Same shit, different day!
Anyway, by ripping the heart out of 10 rights, we get the trophy Heartless. We reach the Hell of Damnation, where we go inside the Temple of Thanatos. As always, we get some platforming, some puzzling, you know, and we reach the section where we have to destroy a machine. Once we do that, we get the trophy Ghost in the Machine. A lot of puzzles later, we finally reach Deimos, who is strapped to the ceiling. We free him, and the first thing he does is blaming Kratos for what happened.
You let this happen to me. You were supposed to protect me!
He starts to fight Kratos and proceeds to absolutely beat his ass, and we get the trophy Let Him Win. Deimos keeps hitting Kratos, telling him how much he hates him. Thanatos appears and takes Deimos, searching for retaliation for the killing of his daughter, so he takes him to the suicidal bluffs. We follow him and save Deimos from falling to the void, and now for that they are best brothers once again. And they go together to fight Thanatos. They reach him and he reveals what we all were thinking. The prophecy of the Mark Warrior who will bring the destruction of the Olympus was actually talking about Kratos and not Deimos. And we have the first mention of the Sisters of Fate. Remember that, it will be important later. Finally we start the fight and get the trophy Spartan Stand Tall. On his final form, Thanatos grabs Deimos and smashes him, leaving him seriously injured. That's when Kratos absolutely loses it and gets all mad and powerful, hitting Thanatos into his normal self. And yep, you know what is going to happen. With the death of Thanatos, we get the trophy The Death of Death. Deimos died from his injuries, so Kratos takes his body to the top of the mountain, where the grave digger is already waiting with an open grave. Kratos places Deimos in the grave, and we get the trophies Only One Remains and Zeus May Cry for finishing the game of hard. Kratos walks away and we get delivered the hardest line in God of War.
By the gods, what have I become?
Death, the destroyer of worlds.
Athena appears and tells Kratos that since he has no longer attachments to Earth, he can now become a god. But Kratos swears that still, the gods will pay for this. And we have the confirmation of who the father of Kratos is since Athena calls him brother.
Forgive me, brother.
And we finish the game where God of War 2 starts. Now, you remember that we only need one more special item for the Treasure Hunter trophy. And to get it, we need 1 million red orbs. Yes, you heard that right. 1 million red orbs. Luckily for us, we can go to the combat arena, set health and magic to infinite, pick the gold armor, set the 2 types of enemies to minotaurs, turn off their attacks, and set a spawn quantity of 2. Now it is just a matter of entering the arena and activating the King's Ring to get 10 times the amount of red orbs. Now we just spawn the Scourge of Eren's magic until we reach 1 million red orbs. Now in the meantime, I upgraded the last weapon of the arsenal and got the trophy Master of Arms. Also, if you time the attacks just right to never run off of enemies on screen, you can increase your hit combo to 1000, which gives us the trophy Greatest Hits. And in about 45 to 50 minutes, we get to 1 million red orbs. Now in the treasure section, we'll go to the Temple of Zeus, and we will buy every one of these red orbs that unlock customs, challenges and stuff. And once we reach the last one, yes, we are missing one red orb. So just go to the arena, get some orbs and go back. Buy the last orb and the floor of the temple turns into a stair. We go up and use a lever that turns the pillar into a stair that goes underground, where we find a shovel. We pick it up and finally get the Treasure Hunter trophy. Now we'll do the challenges. We have a total of 13 challenges and I don't have too much to say about it. Most of them are fun and the harder ones are pretty fair. I would just recommend to use the Arms of Sparta since the triple square combo does a lot of damage really fast and will make a lot easier some of the challenges. And while doing the challenges I also got the trophy Collisions by throwing 10 enemies into each other. When we finish the last challenge we'll get the trophy Gods Amongst Men. I think this is the best implementation of the challenges, where I really had a good time figuring out how to do them. Definitely a whole lot better experience than the ones from the prior games. For one of the hidden trophies, we must go to a save into the Keeper where Thera is. And now for the hidden trophy, we must make her scream for a whole minute. And I gotta say, it was the longest minute of my life. To do it, we just have to make sure that the right arm of Kratos doesn't pass his head, and just like that we get the trophy Make Her Scream. The last trophy is Burning Sensations, that consists of burning 500 enemies. To do it, we must go to the arena, set the first creature to Atlantis female and the spawn count to 3, and do the same on the other creature slot, but with the Atlantis male. Now we enter the arena and start burning them with the Thera's Bane. Once I reached the 500, I got the trophy alongside the Platinum. This game is chef's kiss, one of the best God of War games. The game is fun, short and engaging, the characters and enemies design are one of the best in the saga, and the plot, the plot, is a refreshing change from the usual grief of Kratos, where we can already see a Kratos full of hate, and we get to know more about his past and his brother. Definitely an A-tier game right here. Anyway, this is the end of the video, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next week with God of War 2.